Welcome to another edition of Great Health, Abundant Happiness, and Outrageous Love. Mwah. We want to talk tonight about basically everything you want, everything you're trying to manifest, everything you're going after. Every possible choice is already right in front of you.
It already exists.
Yes. Not only exists, it's right in front of you, right? Plain as day. I want to start with a few examples. Number one, we call it the Subaru Outback effect. It's kind of a funny story about Karen's dad. He's looking at cars. He's out here in Colorado. You want to tell the story?
Yeah, my dad's always looking to buy a new car. So he's always looking at the cars. They drove out here, he and my mom, and the entire drive out, I'm sure that he pointed out every single vehicle to my mother. And what he came to realize was there were a ton of Subaru Outbacks on the road, especially once he hit the mountains, the mountain region, and Summit County, which is where we live. He felt that every other car, if not more, was a Subaru Outback, and he said he'd never seen them before.
Yeah, that's what he's saying to Karen and I. We're like, what are you talking about? There's no more Subaru Outbacks here than anywhere else. I never see them. I don't know what you're talking about.
And we hadn't looked because we don't really have that big of an interest in cars. Jeffrey used to have an interest in cars back in the day, and I've never been a car person, ever. I think I've had 3 cars in the history of our marriage, and I won't even test drive them. I'm just, I know it's going to work. Get me a Jeep Wrangler, and I will drive it from point A to point B until the car dies. Right. So I don't look at the other cars on the road, and therefore I never noticed that there were more of one type or the other. But now that my father brought this up, the point is, now we see these Outbacks everywhere. They're all over Colorado.
Right. Well, especially right after he left, I called him up and said, hey, Pop, you're right. They're everywhere because, he was on the highway. There's one over there. There's another one. There's one parked over there. And so the point is, the Subaru Outbacks were always on the highway. Karen and I just never noticed them.
Right.
It's kind of like 11:11. You always talk about that, right?
That's right. So 11:11, we all know it's going to be on the clock in the morning and in the afternoon or the evening.
Right.
It's going to be on the clock 2 times in a 24-hour period. But what's wild is that that's become a symbol for us, and I think a lot of other people find it to be a good luck time. Yeah, it's the 11:11 movement. I love that. Right. There's actually a wine called 11:11 as well. And it's just uncanny how often we'll either be in the car or at home and we look at the clock and we see 11:11 at that exact moment. Now, it's always happening every day, twice a day. And again, that's the point of, if you look for it, you will see it. Right. It already exists. It's happening. And if you look for it, you'll see it.
I take it as a sign, even when I see 1, 2, 3, 4, like 1:23 in the afternoon, or 1, 2, 3, 4 would be 12:34, but 1, 2, 3, 1:23 in the afternoon. So you get the picture of this, the sequence of numbers. When I see that, I'm like, oh, 1, 2, 3, right? So, but the point is that happens twice a day. So the point to all this, it's already out there. It exists. We know that. That's why I like these 2 examples. Gets a little more complex when we start talking about when you are on the right path and you align your heart and your mind and you're working towards certain goals and you're manifesting things. Karen and I always talk about opportunities flowing to us like a river.
Right.
Whether it be cash, business opportunities to meet new friends,
right.
Whatever it is, those opportunities are flowing to us like a river. And we always say that because they do. But also it's just a reminder, because what do you think of when you see a river flowing towards you? It's endless. You can take a bucket and go scoop up some of that opportunity, still keeps coming. You can scoop up 10 buckets, 100 buckets, doesn't matter. The river keeps coming. It's unlimited. So it's
right.
Interesting, right?
Right. And what prompted this was a really dear friend of ours called us the other morning, and you know who you are. Shout out to you. And it was so awesome to hear your voice. It had been way too long, and we had a really deep conversation, like we always have in the past, We have a lot of laughs with you, but we also have a lot of great conversations. And you were saying how, you are having a difficult time forgiving people and forgiving actions. And it really prompted us to think about the fact that when you're spending, and we talked about this on the phone too, when you're spending all that energy on, having that anger or depending on, what the energy is, but it's not a positive energy when you're not forgiving somebody. The other person has no idea. You might think they do, but they don't. And even if they know it, they're going on with their life. So you're actually having this anger or this negative energy towards not forgiving somebody, or it may even be yourself, or both. And you just need to let it go, because what happens is, as these opportunities flow to you, you're just not able to see them because you're too focused on what's not happening. You're focused on not being able to forgive instead of what is happening.
Right. And you're really talking about, that was like the third level. It's like finding significant other, finding people. This is where it gets deeper, right? Really easy to understand. Subaru Outbacks have always been on the highway out here in Colorado.
Sure.
And the clock always ticks off 1, 2, 3 every day. That happens every day. Next, business opportunities and opportunities to meet people are all around us. I mean, I think people can get their head around that fairly easy, but they do miss it.
And the opportunity to help people or help one person and make a difference, that is a huge opportunity that I think a lot of us get faced with on a daily basis. And it could be something as simple as, you just never know. You could be at the grocery store and you could just ask somebody, are you okay? Or how are you doing today? And you may be making a significant change in that person's life just by sharing your positive energy with them, because they may be in a spot where maybe they're feeling really down on humanity, and all of a sudden you come along. You just don't know. These opportunities are everywhere. They already exist, right?
Right. So the next big step is really that significant other. That house, the beach bungalow that Karen and I always talk about. It's that perfect job, the perfect life, whatever it is, the bigger things, that's all right there in front of you too. It's right out in front of you. And you just have to be aware when you stumble upon it, that there it is. There's the path to it. And you can't give up. You got to let the universe let this stuff flow to you. And it gets pretty deep. We talk a lot about living from the end and things like that. For instance, our beach bungalow, we think about, sleeping there. This is like a Neville Goddard thing, living from the end. Sleeping there, we talk a lot about the sand that you track in right off the beach. We were just looking at some VRBOs, and I said, hey, Karen, check out this site, because I think there's 3 or 4 right there that looks like the house that I have in my mind. We're looking at, when we talk about a beach bungalow, this isn't like a big mansion with infinity pools or any of that crap. This is really almost like, cinder block. Maybe it's painted really kind of cute, but it's palm trees. There might be some grass going down the ocean, but the sand, you'll track it in and out, where we write our books and paint, right?
But if you want the big mansion and that's your thing, then manifest that and live there in your own mind. We are not here to judge or whatever, but we both have this same vision of this beach bungalow, and I think that you were just trying to give the visual of it, because
absolutely, everybody's different.
Very laid back.
Someone may want to live in a penthouse in New York City,
right?
And they just envision themselves there, calling up and ordering from that great restaurant down the street that delivers to them because they know their name, and you spend a lot of money there, and they give you extra special treatment, and you got a doorman that walks them up, and you've got this whole process down in your mind. That could be your best life,
and that's available.
Yeah, we love living on the side of a ski mountain and putting my face in the sun on the ski lift. I mean, we had this stuff envisioned before we got here, just like we do at the beach bungalow. But to Karen's point, it doesn't matter. You can live in a cave and chisel hieroglyphics on the side as you meditate, or you can live in a high rise in New York City. Whatever. You just have to see it, feel it, experience, and it's all there for you.
Exactly.
This is kind of like a form of reality transurfing. Every version of you already exists, right? Every version of your life already exists, from the absolute worst to the absolute best, and every flavor in between. And if you believe in quantum physics, which is science, I hope you do, outside of time, space, and reality, any of this stuff is happening. So you just have to tap into it. It's right in front of you.
It's all right there. You just need to look for it. You need to see it. You need to envision it. You need to live it. And again, live it from the end. Live it like you're already doing it. And if you are blocked from doing that, you really need to take steps back and release anything that's keeping you from achieving, this life that you want to live, this existence that, would really be a happier you, instead of holding on to things that are making you unhappy or
right.
that are keeping you from
right.
seeing these things. Right.
And it doesn't even have to be physical things. When you say keeping from seeing those things, the other thing Karen and I noticed too, we see a lot of animals that approach us,
yes.
On a regular basis. We may be sitting somewhere and a squirrel will come up to us, or a bird. We were just skiing out in Crested Butte, and those scrub jays were coming out. I put my hand up. I thought he was going to come land on my hand.
I did too.
And we were at the top of the mountain. It wasn't like I had food. I didn't have French fries like I was trying to feed him. But at the end of the day, he was there, and I had this experience out here a few days ago. There's a guy that lives in the building. I don't even know his name. I just know him. I say hi to him. And he has a dog. I've never interacted with this dog before. But I was sitting out there, standing out there in the sun after the sauna. Karen had gone in. And I feel like we had this conversation about animals are attracted to us. So I was kind of playing this over. Sorry. Playing this over in my mind that I could attract this dog. And I was sending my energy. And then he looks at me and comes flying over. He's skipping and jumping like a baby goat.
Right. Oh.
I mean, it was so cute. And he came up, and you know how dogs come and they put their hind end into you and lean into you so you can pat him. And he took off running around again. He did this like 3 or 4 times and was trying to talk to his owner. Came inside. They went to the elevator. He came shooting over to do it one more time. The point is, was all that there before we noticed it? I would say yes, it is. You just didn't notice it. You're too busy to pay attention to the dog, too busy to pay attention to the baby in a carriage in a grocery store,
right?
Smiling up
well,
at you.
sometimes you brush
right?
it off, like, get down, or, leave me alone. Instead of enjoying it, you can look at everything and see it one way, or you can see it another way.
Yeah, it's all a choice. But the point is, everything you can imagine is already right out there in front of you. So whatever you want, you just have to be aware. Keep your eyes wide open and keep your mind open. Again, align your heart and mind for whatever you're looking for, and hopefully you'll see the light, and you'll see that it's right there in front of you. Right there, that's the space. I like to call it the space between the space, right? There's we can go very deep into this, and we'll do some other videos on this later, but as you look at a tree and you look at the beautiful leaves, you look at the space between those leaves, and then that space is beautiful, then what's in the space between the space, and there's a lot more there, and that's like other dimensions and all that stuff. It's crazy. So love to hear your thoughts. Comment down below if you guys got some thoughts around this. Do you believe that everything you ever want is right in front of you? I hope you do. Like to hear your thoughts, right?
Absolutely. Wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love from the Nesta Copper Mountain. And shout out to Flexential. Thank you so much for this hat. I love it.
Nice.
Peace out.
Click up above if you would to subscribe. We'd love to have you on board.